round of applause.
Hello, Mason Middle School. Hi. Can I get a little more enthusiastic hi than that? Hi. Hi. I'm so glad to be here today and to talk to you guys about the power of words. So, to start out, I want to do a little competition here. We have 6th and 7th graders, right? Is it 6th?
Well,
7th and 8th? 6th, 7th, and 8th. Okay, so raise your hand if you're a 6th grader. Oh wow, there's a lot of you. I think you might win this competition. So I want you to shout out, words have power. Okay, this is a competition, so shout it as loud as you can. That's pretty good. Okay, 7th graders, can you beat them? Go ahead. Words have power. That's pretty good. All right, 8th graders, show us what you got. Words have power.
Words have power!
6th graders, you definitely won. Give yourself a round of applause. Okay, I am going to be talking to you guys about the power of words today. And when I came into this gym, I couldn't help but notice this gorgeous Mustang on your gym floor here. And I have a little story about Mustangs. When I was in college and still struggling with some self-doubt, I had a teacher tell me, Jenny, you're like a wild Mustang running wild and free in the wilderness. And yeah, woo! And those words stuck with me, and so when I saw this, it made me remember those words. And those words really mattered to me. They really built me up, and they showed me something about myself that I didn't know. Because at the time, I was really frustrated. You know, I felt kind of confined, and I went and talked to this teacher, and I'm like, I'm really frustrated. And he's like, you know what? The reason why you're frustrated is because right now in school, you're kind of like in a stable. You know, you're a Mustang and you're put in a stable, and really you're meant to run wild and free. And something clicked inside of me like, oh yeah, that's who I am. And it really built me up. So I thought that maybe we could do your Mustang cheer this morning, the Mason Middle School Mustang cheer. So I talked to the ASB students, and they are willing to lead you in the Mustang cheer. So please come up along with the volunteers, or are you all ASB? Volunteers and ASB. Okay. So everybody needs to stand up. Some of you may have never done this before, so this will be an introduction to your school cheer. So, okay, you guys, show them how it goes. Show them how it goes. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Let's go, Mason. Mustang.
All right, let's repeat that after them. 1, 2, 3. Let's go, Mason Mustang. Let's do it one more time, really loud. Let's go, Mason Mustang. All right, good job, you guys. Have a seat. Thanks so much. Okay, so today I'm going to share my story with you, and my story has the message that words have power, because I've experienced the power of words in my own life. So today I'm going to create a timeline up here on the gym floor. So the timeline is going to start right here at this blue line, and this is going to be where I was born. And then present day is going to be this blue line over here. Okay? So I'm going to lead you through my story today, starting right here. So, I was born here in Tacoma, actually, and as you can see, and as the video said, I was born with partial limbs. So this is how I've been my whole life. I'm very comfortable with myself because I've never known anything else. And thankfully, I was adopted at birth by really awesome parents. My mom is a doctor, and my dad is a gardener and an author. He wrote books about gardening. And my parents are very unique because my dad was the one that stayed home with us, and my mom is a doctor and works 60 hours a week. So they're a little bit unconventional, but I think it's pretty awesome. They not only adopted me, but they adopted 5 other of my siblings, and all 6 of us that are adopted in my family have special needs. And then my parents had 2 children. So there was 8 of us growing up. I grew up in a very diverse home, and my parents are really awesome people. So right here, when I went off to kindergarten, my parents really advocated for my education. At first, the principal of my kindergarten said, "We're not going to educate her here at this school." And my parents hired a lawyer and won because of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, which you guys might learn a little later down the road in your schooling. And so this law made it so that I could go to school with all of my peers and be in the same classroom as all of my peers, instead of in a separate classroom or a separate school. And that was a really good thing because I got to have a great education. And it also was difficult because, you know, kids sometimes tease other kids that look different, right? I'm sure some of you have experienced that or seen that happen. And so in elementary school, it wasn't so bad. I got teased a little bit, but not too bad. But it was when I got to middle school, right here, which is where you guys are at, that's when the teasing really got bad. And I think middle school is a transitional time in your life where you're starting to grow up a little bit. And that's the time where you start to notice people's differences, and the teasing can get really bad in that time. So while I was going to middle school, in the mornings I would feel really sick to my stomach. And sometimes I would get panic attacks during the day where my heart would race really fast, and I would start hyperventilating, and I'd go to the nurse's office because kids would bully me. And so it really wasn't a fun experience at all. I did have a very small group of friends that were very kind to me. And right here in middle school, there was a speaker that came to school and talked to my school just like I'm talking to you right now. And that inspired me. And I said, you know what? I think I want to do that when I grow up. And that dream started to grow inside of me that I wanted to be a public speaker when I grew up. I also grew up singing. And so in middle school, I really started doing a lot of performing in talent shows and on stage in the local theaters. And that really built my self-esteem in the hard time where I was being teased. The teasing did continue through high school. It wasn't as bad, but it did happen. So by the time I got to my senior year of high school for graduation, I had a really low self-esteem because of all the words that had been said to me in those years. And I can tell you though, that even though sometimes I felt hopeless and depressed at this time in my life when I was in high school, I had a dream. And I knew that I wanted to do something extraordinary with my life. It was inside of me. I kind of knew it in the back of my head. And so I decided to go to college. And I went to Pacific Lutheran University here in Tacoma. And there in college, I experienced acceptance like I had never felt before. I had friends that accepted me, and I was in a peer group where I felt like for the first time I really belonged. And the teasing stopped in college, and Pacific Lutheran University was a very positive school for me to go to. And I started hearing things like, you're really awesome, and you're really talented, and your story is going to change lives, and you have a great future ahead of you. And I heard that from my teacher that said, you're like a wild Mustang running wild and free in the wilderness. And that started to build my self-esteem, and I started to see myself in a good light. I started to see that I had value and that I had a good future. And so these words that I experienced right here healed the words that were hurtful that I experienced here in middle school and high school. And it's like it melted all those away, and I forgot. And all I could see was all the good that was inside of me and all the amazing things that I was going to get to do with my life. So then I went on and got certified in radio broadcasting, and I got a master's in counseling, and then I worked at the Tacoma School of the Arts, and then I started a motivational speaking business in 2011. Then I ran for Miss Wheelchair Washington in March of this year and won. And then I won Miss Wheelchair America in July. Thank you, guys. So winning this title has been a dream come true, because now I get to travel the United States and I get to speak to schools just like I'm doing right now. And I talk to a lot of other crowds like colleges and businesses and churches, and I get to share my story, and I get to share the message that words have power. And I also just wrote a book. It's being published. It should be out by the end of this month. It's called Dreams Come True. And it's basically, in book form, it's the story I just told you. So I'll let your school know as soon as it's out, and then you guys can get it if you want to. So my heart in sharing my story with you today is that when you're here and your dreams are coming true in your future, and you're a grown-up and you have a job and a career and you're doing the things that you love, like photography or a math teacher or a rocket scientist or a dancer or a singer or anything that you have in your heart to do, which start dreaming right now, because you won't even believe how fast you'll grow up. It goes fast. So when you think about your life back here, right here in middle school, I want you to have good memories of this time, middle school and high school. I don't want you guys to have the same memories that I have. I want you guys to remember this as a time that you built each other up, that when you came to school, you looked forward to coming to school because you spoke kind words and you were kind to each other, and that you used words that built each other up instead of tore people down. And I also want you to remember yourself as someone that was kind and good to people around you, because I've actually met some of the people that bullied me in school, and it was a very powerful experience because they came up and apologized. And it was very healing, but they felt really bad that they were so mean and that, for the things that they had said, and they really regretted that. And so I don't want you guys to have any regrets. I want this to be a time that you were young and free like Mustangs, and that you were happy, and that you loved coming to school, and you loved learning because school was a fun place for you. So you have the choice every day when you wake up in the morning and come to school to make this a positive place. You, as an individual, are the one that makes the change happen here. You can't look to your neighbor or the other people in your class or your peers to say, well, they should be better. You be better first and be the example, and then everyone else will follow you. So what I'm going to have you do is close your eyes, and I want you to think of one thing that you're going to do every day when you come to school to make Mason Middle School a positive place to be and to learn. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think of that one thing you're going to do every day.